Good day. This is the Doc of Real Estate coming at you live and direct with some more content. And I'm here with my girl, Special K, who's always behind the scenes, behind the cameras, making sure we bring meaningful, good information to those who continue to follow us, continue to DM us, and continue to even reach out to us via telephone and via email. So thank you very much for that. So this morning we're going to be talking about our new home build process, which is really taking off. Shout out to my frat brother Eric and his beautiful wife Ebony, who will be building him a custom 3,300 square foot home right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. So congrats to those two who are newest new home build clients, and we appreciate you for selecting us because you could have went to any other builder. Kay, what you got for me next?
All right, so I want to build a new home. Where do we start?
Well, first of all, you start by going to www.tebowresidential.com. I know that's a shameless plug, but www.tebowresidential. Go to our website, check out our work, and call for your consultation. That's right, come in. We're going to talk about the pros of new build construction, and we're going to talk about cons. Everything in life has pros and cons. Nothing is all, upside. That's why you have to have balance. So to start, you come in with the consultation, and we talk about three critical components. First of all, your budget, right? Because some people want to come in and build a $2 million house with a $500,000 budget, and that just doesn't work, right? So we talk about your budget because that budget is going to help us narrow in on two specific things: your location, number one, and number two, how much money do we have to actually build the house with the acquisition of the house. So again, two things that drive price in real estate is location and what's there in that location. You can have land in that location that's going to be different than a house that was built 10 years ago. You can have land in that location that's going to be different than a house that was just built 2 years ago. You can have land in that location that's going to be different with a complete tear down, right? So the location is the first driving factor, but what's there in that exact location is going to determine that full acquisition cost, because the new build process has two parts to it. Three parts to be quite honest, and we'll talk about the three parts. So when you buy a resale, that's a house that's already built, somebody else's home, it's already built into one price. The land acquisition, the cost to build the property, and what people don't think about too, what we call soft costs, are that whole architectural process that you must go through in order to get a building permit to build what is there. So when you buy a resale, those three things are already baked in. In the new build process, those three things again is what we call that pre-construction process, when we go through the schematic design and build that floor plan and build that custom floor of how you want the house to look. I know Eric and my frat brother E don't mind me sharing their process, but when they came in with a set of plans that they thought they wanted, and that's the beauty of it, because kind of Eric's idea for what he wants this custom built home to be is slightly different than what Ebony's ideal is, and in that consultation we help flesh those things out to make it their home, to make it your home. That's the beauty of the customization. I mean, they got some really cool things in their house, like for instance, you can walk off their second floor and go up to their roof. The back half of their roof is all roof that overlooks back towards the Washington Monument. Really cool thing to see, because 4th of July, that deck and that view is going to be lit. So I can't wait for us to build it and see what that whole view look like. Things like that is really cool. They both work from home, both got excellent professions, excellent careers. So they have these like pocket offices that are tucked really cool on the first floor in the basement that kind of fit the flow of what they want their home to feel like and what they want it to flow like. So we go through that whole pre-construction phase, which is the first phase. We do not build anything without the right permits. Let me tell you that again. We do not build anything without the right permits. So we have to go through that process to get the schematic layout, elevations, to get to a construction set of drawings, where we'll bring in the different engineers that are needed, the structural engineer to make sure that the house is structurally sound, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer to make sure that they bring in all the mechanics of the house, the plumbing of the house, plumbing risers, stacks, all of that stuff. And then once we get past that first phase, we can now package that, give that to that specific municipality in which you're building your home, and then they give us a building permit. Now we move to phase 2. Once we have a building permit, you can already have the land acquired, which I highly recommend. We've had clients come to us, pay all this money for a set of plans, And now the plans, the lot does not fit the plans. I mean, we have Mr. Chow and his family haven't officially made them clients yet, but they have this beautiful home. Their home is roughly about 12,000 square feet above grade. And, you know, we're kind of stuck right now because where they want to be, the land is high. And then also, too, you just can't put it on any regular shaped land because of the way the house footprint lies. So key point, do not start the architectural process, because what's going to happen is they're going to have to do one or two things, because they're wasting time right now. Because we have to find a lot that is very square, because you have to have offsets from the size of the house to the adjoining property lines. We're wasting a lot of time because they put the cart kind of before the horse. We should have selected the lot first, acquired the lot, and then let the architect design the home based on the lot. And a lot of people make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. I know people get excited. I know they think, you know, they can jump the gun. They know no, don't do that, because you're going to be stuck like Mr. and Mrs. Chow are. So in this case, Ebony and Eric had already selected the lot first, and they already selected, and we've already finished their schematic design to move to a construction set. That's the process. So now we got the acquisition of the lot, which is a cost, and I got to shout out Jessica Perry. Love you, Jessica, who's been tremendous. This is our third new build project that we're doing. Jessica Perry, who's a senior lending construction officer over at Sandy Springs Bank. Yeah, I'm plugging you, Jessica. And she's just been phenomenal to work with. So this is our third project we're actually doing with Jessica. And Jessica will allow the client to not only take down the land, which means purchase the land, but also once we get the drawings to a construction set, Jessica will package it as one transaction where you now get a construction perm loan all in one, and you can go to work. So now they've gotten that. They've come with the construction perm loan. We built, which is the second part, you can call it first or second part, the architectural plans to go with that. And now it's time for the third part of that. So again, you got the acquisition of the lot so that you can build it. You go to designing the home that you want with our architect. And then you go to the third and final phase of that in new build construction, which is to build your dream home. And it's just an exciting thing to see clients come to their house on a daily basis and just see their home grow from nothing, from the ground up, literally. And it's a beautiful process and a beautiful thing to be a part of that. So once we build a house, we meet our deadline, pass all our inspections, bank is happy, county is happy, your house is built to code, no problems. We're now handing you the key to your custom home build. So I invite you, call us today. Let's sit down. It doesn't cost you anything except your time and your imagination, so that we can talk about how, and actually, to be honest, I did the math on this. You can build a new home cheaper than buying somebody else's home. In most cases, there's some exceptions to the rule now. You're not gonna say, hey Doc, I can buy a brand new home better than an old raggedy home on the same block. No, it's a raggedy home. That's why it's cheaper. However, if you're comparing a resale home within the last 5 years, and we stand by this, compared to a new build project, we can build you that custom new build home cheaper than that home that somebody else has already built. So call us today, sit down and talk about how this works for you. And it's just a cool thing. Yeah, I know, Kate. They asking questions, well, Doc, I mean, you build all these custom new homes. Have you ever built your own custom home? And the answer is yes. I'm on my second one, because the process is just that easy and just that beautiful. So yeah, look, even if I sell this home that we're in, I will never ever buy somebody else's home, being in the business and practicing what I preach. I will always build my own home before I buy someone else's resale home if it's my primary home. Now, you know, sharing this in the spirit of transparency, my wife and I, we're gonna build 3 dream homes in our lifetime. We got one out of the way, which is our primary home, but the second two, one of the second two will be a resale or not, because the second dream home is we wanna build on one of the Great Lakes, right? As the boys grow up, I love the outdoors. I love the fish. I love the hike. I love the camp, right? We want to have a retreat that we can go to, not a vacation. We'll talk about vacationing we'll talk about it in another segment. But we want to have a retreat that we can go to and just have that father-son bonding time. So we're going to buy a home on one of the Great Lakes. And then the third dream home that we're going to build or purchase in our lifetime, maybe a new build or not, more likely than not, there's a home somewhere in a destination location, so that when my family and I retire, I don't think, we love the United States. We're very fortunate and privileged for the opportunities here, but we want to live in a different country. We want to do something different, and we haven't decided that yet. So Wife and I were still kind of planning that. Santorini looks very nice, somewhere like that. But yeah, so yeah, I would never ever purchase someone else's resale, knowing what I know and standing by what I know. Like from here on out, everything that I ever live in as my primary resident will always be custom built.
Words of wisdom. We want to know what you got for us today.
Oh, what's on my heart? What's on my mind today? Golly, I had the privilege of meeting with the CEO of, what's Greg Concrete Company name? God, I met with him. He was so hospitable to even invite me to his beautiful home in Annapolis on the water. Golly, Greg, forgive me. But he owns a big custom concrete company here. So he had this countertop in his kitchen that had like shark teeth and seashells. I've never seen a concrete countertop like this in my life in someone's home. And the way he had it designed, like he had the big center island there, and then he had kitchen countertop there and kitchen countertop there over where the stove was. And it's like this secondary or tertiary area where, you put a Keurig and stuff. And the way he had the seashells that his kids had collected from the beach and, different places that they've traveled, like literally collected, somehow sanding it down, and the beauty and the flow of how he had it going across those three countertops. Man, Greg, awesome work. So, words of wisdom. I was going to tell you something that actually Greg told me last night because I actually met with Greg and thinking about joining the CEO mentoring group called Vistage, and he's a member. He's been a member for 3 years, and it's a big commitment. So before I committed it, I asked the chair, if I can meet with one of the members who've been in the group the longest versus a member who just recently joined the group. So he's one of 2 members that I'm going to be meeting with, and he filled the role of meeting with a member that's been in the group for the longest. So nevertheless, we were just, talking, getting to know one another, and Greg asked me, like, why do you do what you do? Why are you in this business? And I lit up because we talked about coming from academia. He was an engineer by trade, officer in the Navy, worked for Goldman Sachs, had a crazy great job and hated it. His dad was an engineer, but always worked with concrete. And, he was given this opportunity to work with concrete, and he loved it. And, after him telling me that story and after him putting that question back on me, like, why do you do what you do, right? Because I guess he wanted to really hone in on, like, where am I in terms of my why. And I just lit up and I said, I told him my story about country boy coming from South Carolina, coming to the area, that whole story. And I said, Greg, man, I do what I do because I absolutely love what I do. And you all may have heard me say that before, but my words of, humble wisdom to you, if I may, is life is short. But the beauty about life is it's exactly what you make it. And one of the most important things that I have found in life is what is that thing that I have made my thing to get me up out of bed every day, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready to conquer the world, and that is finding your passion. My son Junior just graduated from high school, and like many teenagers, he doesn't have it figured out, doesn't know if he wants to go into a college that he's got accepted into, doesn't know if he wants to work. But the biggest thing I tell him, like, son, whatever you decide, my job as your father right now is to help you find something that you are passionate about. Because if I can help him tap into that now, he has that many more years he's added to his life of fruitful abundance, of happiness and joy. Because when you operate in your passion, woo, I'm telling you, man, like, okay, I can get up. Like when that alarm hit 3:30 sometimes, and sometimes, look, the alarm don't even hit, and it could be a few minutes before 3, I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, let me just lay here for a couple more minutes. But when I get out of that bed, I'm ready to conquer the world because I believe that I can do anything that I put my mind to. And I am passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about the clients that I'm serving. I'm passionate about the projects that we're developing. I'm passionate to be in a profession that no 2 days are never, ever the same. Never, ever the same. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative to be blessed immensely in the way that I've been blessed. So again, all that I have is not mine to keep. And therefore I give to you those words of wisdom that whatever you do, I mean, you could see the misery on Greg's face. Now, mind you, his energy is like on 100 plus. I mean, walking through the door, just full of energy. And I'm a big energy person. But he worked for Goldman Sachs, one of the, most reputable business companies on Wall Street. And he said he was miserable, making great money, great benefits package, great, brownstone they put him up in New York, but and you can see that energy just be sucked out of the room. And it dawned on me that so many people wake up doing something that they're miserable about because probably they just don't want to step out of their comfort zone and believe in themselves, believe that you can do literally anything that you put your mind to, but also too, let me not, lead you the wrong way. You also got to be willing to put in the work. That's the key part. So let's get up. Let's put our minds to anything that we believe that we can do, but also to have a plan and be willing to put in the work. So with that being said and done, Kay, I know those words of wisdom were a bit lengthy this morning, but I felt that thing coming from my heart about that passion, man. That passion. So till next time, I'll see you on the next construction site.